Welcome back to Background Noise. We know it's been a while.
It's still a podcast about literally anything and can be listened to while you're doing literally anything.
We're just two best friends who talk non-stop. My name is Eric.
My name is Kaysee. Today we are throwing it back all the way back to our first episode. It's been a few months.
And we have plenty of dead fish in the sea. We have way too many experiences of the bad driving variety. So this first story is, this car was in my neighborhood. And I'm behind them, and they start braking, and their brake lights all come on. Which, thank heavens, a car with actually all three brake lights working.
I know.
Isn't that crazy and unexpected? But they stop and then turn their turn signal on. And I could tell that it was supposed to be the turn signal because it lit up different than the brakes. Like, it was a different light bulb. And it was just like a solid circle. What
kind of blinker is that?
Not a blinker. It was so broken. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that was supposed to be the blinker. I have to write this down so I can talk about it the next time we have bad driving experiences. Because it was like, here's their circle brake light, on the bottom. And then above is the circle blinker, just not blinking, just being solid. And the other one wasn't on. So it was clearly a blinker.
That's weird.
But then I saw them another time, and it was still doing that. But the front blinker works, it flashes. From the late 90s or early 2000s.
So I feel like...
Not old enough where I'd expect the whole wiring to go. I guess that's old enough for the wiring to be bad, but it was also a Chevy. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to keep my eye out for it again because I thought that was so weird.
That is
Why
really
is the front
weird.
one blink, but the back one doesn't?
It just turns on.
As a solid, as if it was a brake light, but it was clearly not.
That's weird.
It was really weird.
That is not it.
Hit different.
Towards the end of the time that I had it, it was just falling apart. Because after a certain mile, Chevy Cruzes especially, they just break apart and stop working.
They just give up.
Yep, they give up on their lives. Straight to jail.
Straight to the graveyard.
And my car started to do this weird thing, where it would not speed up. I'm driving just normal. Where it stops, not going.
Oh
and gosh. I'm freaking out.
Uh-huh.
And there was this one time it did that, and these people were coming fast behind me. And I got into the turn lane and then started turning and it started going, thankfully.
Yeah.
And then it just started going again. That's how it started, is that it would just slow down and would not go at all.
And wasn't that on... I'll cut it out.
Yeah, and that's a busy road. This road is so busy.
It was on... The road that it first did it was a super, super busy road.
Yeah, it just kept doing that over and over until I finally asked my husband if he would look at it and see what's happening. And they weren't believing me. When I'm telling them my car is slowing down, it's not going.
What the heck?
At first, they weren't believing me. They were like, okay. And every time I tried to show it to them, to show them what was happening, and they got in the car with me, wouldn't happen.
Of course.
And then finally, I had a dash cam, and Zach was looking at it, and he saw that this was, and he's like, when it happens, yell, say something, so that the dash cam could pick it up, so he could know what was happening. And so I finally did that, because apparently I just was freaking out in my mind, and not out loud.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so I did that, and he noticed one time, and then he said that he had fixed it because it was the wiring to the battery or something. And so I trusted him, and I went to drive again, and it did it again. And I was like, yeah, you did not fix it. And so he called his cousin, who is a mechanic, and they thought they had fixed it. Made it worse because I go and I drive. I'm driving and I'm going to work. I turn onto this road, and there's train tracks on the road. And I'm driving, and then all of a sudden, it just stops on the train tracks.
Oh my gosh.
Stops right on the train tracks, and I'm like, what is happening? Because I'm yelling so Zach can know. And I get out of the car because with it being on the train tracks, I'm not going to just sit in the car.
Never.
Well, first I did turn my hazards on. And there's a person behind me, and they just went around me.
Oh my gosh, they didn't even help you or anything?
No, they just went around.
They're like, yeah, I can't deal with this today.
And so I called Zach, and I'm like, my car just stopped on the railroad tracks. And it wasn't very far from home. It was a minute, maybe 3 minutes running. I don't know the time exactly.
But not long.
It's not, yeah. And Zach starts running over to this place. He doesn't get in a car and drive. He starts running and he's on the phone. He's like, try turning it off and back on or something. And so I turned it off. I got back in. Well, I was out of my car and I'm looking both ways, making sure that if a train comes, I'm running out of there, leaving my car.
Your life is not worth your Chevy Cruze.
No, it definitely is not.
Or any car.
Well, and people like were driving past. They did not care.
What the heck?
You're not gonna be like, "Hey, you okay?
You need help?
like I'm on the train track."
My God.
What the heck? Anyway, but Zach's running, and then his dad got in a car and drove over. And while his dad was driving over, I did what Zach told me and turned it off and back on. And it went enough just to get me off the train tracks and over to the side, and then it stopped again.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zach gets there, his dad is there, and they have me take a different car to work. But first I'm like crying because that's so stressful and like
awful.
When does that happen?
Never.
Ever
and
in
why
anyone's
on
lives?
the train tracks?
I know. Could stopped anywhere. Why did it
at
stop?
At a stoplight on the... No, I didn't even want it on the freeway, but a train track?
I know. And then I'm crying, and then a train goes by. Like, 2 minutes after.
Oh my gosh.
I got it off. 3 minutes, maybe. And that's still too close. That's close enough that it freaked me out even more.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you had to just run out of your car?
No.
Leave your car there to die?
Yeah, I'd save my life.
No, I know. It would be obviously worth it, but just imagine, like, that would just be a nightmare.
Yeah,
for the people on the train.
Uh-huh.
For...
Because they'd probably think someone was in it.
Probably.
But
that's
then
terrifying.
I went to work and I told my coworkers and I was like almost in tears again. They were like, "Oh my gosh, like how did that happen to you this morning?" And
wasn't it a Monday too?
Yeah, I think it was a Monday.
Like beginning of the week trauma.
For real. But yeah, that was my Chevy Cruze.
And it didn't last much longer after that.
No, we sold it
pretty quick.
Uh-huh. And I think they had troubles with it.
Really?
So, yeah. Well, we fixed it to sell it. And I didn't drive it because we wanted it to be fixed. And sell it with a good conscience. They bought it and then apparently Zach said that something went wrong. Like, not wrong, just something minor. So I don't know if, like, it's lasted this long or not.
That's kind of sad. It's not even that old.
I know.
It's not like it says a 2000.
Well, and it was like 150 miles. And it's done with its life.
Yeah, that's too early. Cars should last at least 200. At least.
Yep.
That's like the standard today. Maybe just got a bad... I mean, no, because clearly you said, like, cruises seem to have this problem.
Yeah, because Zach did a lot of research on it.
One of my friend's brothers has had, like, 2 cruises.
Well, they're really nice.
Yeah, your cruise was really nice.
They're not it.
They're nice on the inside. That's not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough.
It has to be nice everywhere else, too.
Well, it's nice outside, too. It's just...
No, it looks
all the
nice.
mechanics.
That's what I mean. That's important. Yeah, my friend's brother who has a cruise, the first one, he got in a car accident, and then he got another one. Like, he specifically wanted a cruise. Even though his had problems, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know what the logic of that was.
He really liked it.
He did, and then his brother fixed up the old one, so now they're both running.
Oh.
So it worked out.
But
no, that's terrifying.
It was terrifying. It was so scary, actually.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, that doesn't happen. That can't happen.
How does this happen to somebody? Especially me.
Well, because it's us.
I know.
We're cursed. Refer to episode 10. We are cursed. Okay, so this story is not mine exactly, but I was there, so it is mine. But it's not my car. It was my friend's car, my other bestie's car. And I helped her find this car because her car was... Okay, her first car was from her brother, and it was $200. $200. It didn't have a grill, because it had previously been in a car accident, and all the dash lights were on. The airbags weren't working, the seatbelts weren't working properly. Like, they buckled, but it said like the seatbelts aren't buckled.
That's scary.
And all this thing. And I was like, you need to get a new car because I don't want to go in your car. Like, your car is scary. Let's not go in your car. And so I looked up like cars, and she really likes the color orange and wanted an orange car. Not specifically that was like a requirement, but I saw an orange car that was cute and for a good deal. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at it. And she's like, okay, let's go look at it. So we went and looked at it, and it was only $4,000. It was a 2011 Dodge Journey in orange. Very cute. Very nice car. We got there, and it was in like really good condition. So this car was in super good condition. We both drove it around. It drove really nice. The interior was like really good. You were in it. You went in it once. The inside was nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Like, for its age, the leather wasn't cracking. The middle armrest was cracking, but that's pretty normal. A lot of cars have that at some point. That was like it. The interior, we were like, oh, how is this only $4,000? The exterior had a couple dents and scratches, as any 10-year-old car does. Like, you know, like, it's normal. It was $4,500. And then we left, and it dropped down to $4,000. And I called Rosie. I was like, hey, I think you should get this car. This is a really good deal. You love it. We love the car. You love the color. The price just went down. She's like, well, I have work. And I was like, well, let's go get it before you have work. So we went down to get it. Ended up being such a long experience getting it. But it was just because of an issue with like the paperwork. It wasn't like anyone's fault. It was just whatever. Not the point. So the car's like really good. It's super fun. She loved it. I probably drove it as much as she did, because every time we drove anywhere, I would drive it. That seems to be the standard with my friends. I drive everyone's car. It doesn't matter whose. No, but that was super fun. But then it's summer. We went to the park, and after we leave the park, we go to Cafe Rio. And it's super hot. Like, this is very late July. So it's like the hottest time of the year.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Obviously, from the park to where the Cafe Rio is, air conditioning's not working. Like, that's too short. It's been outside in the sun all day. Like, the AC's not coming out. Which, we're literally on the freeway for half a mile, and all of a sudden the car starts dinging at me, like, a lot. And I look down, and the temperature gauge is at the H, like, over the H.
Oh my gosh.
And the car has like a screen, like a mini screen, like next to the speedometer and the tach and everything. And it's like, pull over, engine overheating, pull over. So I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, the engine's overheating. And so we pull off the freeway at this semi-truck stop. Like, it's literally only for semis. Nobody's there. It's just us in this, like, dirt road semi. Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's just, like, a dirt thing for semis to park and rest. And we're there, and I, like, call my dad. And I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. I've never experienced this before. And he's like, I don't know. Like, it shouldn't be overheating like that. I was like, yeah, I don't know. And he's like, well, open the hood, but be really careful.
My Cruise overheated on the freeway.
You're right. I forgot about that. Pretty soon after this, too, if I remember correctly. 2 of my other best friends were with me that day. And they're just, like, having fun and laughing their heads off and just, like, joking around, being loud as heck. And I'm just, like, freaking out that the car is overheating. Like, it's not even my car. I thought that was funny. So I'm freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't want your car to, like, break and die. And I'm, like, worried about it. And I'm calling my dad, and he's like, well, open the hood, but be really careful, because you don't want any, like, don't touch anything. Just be very careful. So I, like, grabbed a paper towel and opened it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not good, because it needs that all the time. It's not just, like, it needs it in the winter. It needs it, like, all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, that's not good. He's like, well, drive it to the next exit where there's, like, a gas station. Preferably don't drive on the freeway, but of course I just got off on the first exit.
Yeah.
And that's only an exit and an entrance.
Yeah.
It's literally, like, not an exit. And so we get back on. We drive down to the next exit. It's already freaking out at me. Like, it doesn't take... We've sat there probably for 30 minutes, like, letting it cool down in the hottest day of my life. And when it's heated up all the way, not ever at H.
No, I shouldn't be.
But we got to the exit. I pulled off. It was at a 7-Eleven. We parked in the back in the shade. We opened the hood and let it just cool down. We go inside. Again, it's so hot. And so I got a drink because I'm dying. We all got drinks. We're all dying. And I actually have a picture from that day. I didn't take the picture, but you can tell I'm pretty like annoyed that any of this has happened. Not, I wasn't annoyed. I was like worried,
Yeah.
like because I don't like I want to be able to get home, and I don't want her car to be like ruined for her whole life. And so, but I don't know what to do. Like this is a first time experience. Like I'm not even smiling in the picture. I'm just like
You're like, this is my
I'm
life.
literally like not. They're like having a great time, and I'm like
You're like
really bothered. I'm gonna put this in the post because I think it's funny. I'm just like I can't even describe it. Like I'm barely smiling with my lips, like smirking.
you're not even smiling.
No, I'm more like this. I'm just like
Yeah, it's like when you're mad, but you're like.
But you're trying to be okay. But I wasn't mad. I just like was worried for them. Like I was worried for the car and us.
I would be annoyed that they're over here like, yeah, let's take a picture. This is the best day of my life.
It wasn't annoying. I feel like I was having a good time of like like it was a good day, but it was like, why are you guys like so happy about like just life? Like, yeah, me too. I was happy about life, but like there's other adult things happening that I've got to figure out.
I mean,
Anyways.
it's fun that they're making the best of it, though.
No, it was really fun, and I wasn't like angry. I was not angry. I was just like stressed. Like this was stressing me out.
Yeah.
This was like not a normal occurrence in my life to have my car just not even my car, but someone's car overheat while I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix it or how to get home because we're not close to home. So, I'm worried about that a little bit, which is why clearly in that picture I looked annoyed. But I wasn't annoyed. I don't feel like. Anyways, I do not need to talk about why I'm not annoyed or why I was annoyed for 10 minutes, but it's just funny. The picture's funny. I'll put it on it. And so we go into the gas station, and I'm like, okay, let's get antifreeze. Let's get paper towels, extra paper towels, so we can't, because you don't want to touch the antifreeze lid.
Yeah.
Because it'll be hot, and then you open it, and then a lot of times steam will come out.
Yeah.
You got to be really, really careful.
It's in the overflow. Good thing it wasn't. It could spray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is why my dad's like, there's really not any in the overflow. And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And so we get antifreeze. And you also, here's the problem. Once your engine starts overheating, you can't put too much antifreeze in it. You have to like gradually add a little bit. So we can only add a tiny bit. Because if you do it too much, it'll like, the engine will be like, oh my gosh. Apparently. That's what my dad says. And Google. So I only added a little bit. And then we're letting it cool and sit in there. And then when we turn the engine back on, it's basically at the H, but like 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
And we just go on like the frontage road all the way home. And with the windows down, blasting the heat too. That's one fix you have to do is blast the heat. Remember, it's late July, 100 degrees, and we're blasting the heat and rolling with the windows rolled down, which helps a lot. But it's hot. Like we're dying. But that's like blasting heat is pretty much the only way to get all that heat off the engine.
Oh my god.
Like it's your option.
I would be so sweaty.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was fun though. We were just listening to music.
I'd be soaked in my own sweat.
I know. Everyone's just living their life, having a great time, and I'm like stressed out. It was so funny how the person who owns this car was not really stressed out at all. Like we talk about this occasionally, and I was stressed out and panicked for her. And she's just like, not even worried. Like, it was like, whatever. This happens, No, it doesn't. This is the first time. It was super funny, though. But, so that was the big bad experience. Then a couple days later, we went to Jiffy Lube to get them to check it out and add antifreeze back in and flush it. Like, just put new antifreeze in.
Yeah.
And they come back. Oh, and do an oil change because it was due. And so they do all that, and they come back, and they're like, it's leaking oil like crazy, which we knew it was leaking oil a little bit because it leaked on my driveway and took forever to go away. It went away, so it doesn't matter. We knew that it had a little bit of issues, but it was also for like such a good price that it was like, you kind of expected possibly a couple issues that could probably be pretty minor. So they're like, it's literally leaking so much oil that I've never seen a car with this much oil. Like it's everywhere underneath the car. So they're like, I can add this and it'll fix it. And it was whatever. They added that. They fixed that. They come back and they're like, this is the timing belt. It literally had cracks in the timing belt. Do you know if that breaks, like your engine could be gone? That's all it takes. If your timing belt breaks, your engine will like break itself. And it was literally split in half. Like it was two pieces, basically.
Oh my god.
It was really bad. They're like, yeah, I've never seen one like this. So we fixed that. well, I say we, but it was her. I was just
Yeah.
with her to help her not get like cheated out of her money because
Yeah.
she doesn't know a ton about cars, and I do. It limited itself to about 40 miles. That's all you could go. Like,
Oh
you would
my
floor it
gosh.
and it would go 40. That was it.
That's scary.
So I had forgotten about that until just now. So they fixed all of these problems. The engine was much better. It wasn't leaking oil. It was smooth. Like, everything was nice. Like, it was like, okay, you fixed the issue. It's not overheating. But she did have to keep adding oil. Like, it still was leaking somewhere, but it wasn't leaking on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a few months later. So she had to add oil pretty often and always watch the antifreeze. But then fast forward a few months. I know there's more than I'm probably forgetting about because so much ended up happening with it.
Uh-huh.
But winter comes and the heat stops working in the car. It only blows cold air. And she parks
In the summer it blows hot, and in the cold it blows
cold.
cold.
And it was bad because it wouldn't defrost because it's literally pushing out air conditioning.
Oh my gosh.
Even with the air conditioning button off, it was blowing out air conditioning. So it was really bad. And so obviously that's not good at all. We would go places and the car would be frosted up. Like, we couldn't like see. And then one day we're waiting in line at Taco Time or Del Taco to get our food. I go to adjust the mirror. By the way, it's freezing. Literally, I'm shivering in the car.
Mm-hmm.
I go to adjust the mirror and the mirror just falls off. Like, inside the rear view mirror that's like inside. I go to adjust it and it just pops off. And it took us 15 minutes to get it back on. It would not go back on. It just fell right off. I'm sure I have a picture of that somewhere too. So obviously her car is like messed up. Like, she cannot have this car anymore. But I was like, well, let's take it to the Dodge dealership and let's have them see what's wrong. Because it could be just a minor fix. And since you didn't put a ton of money into the car up front, it's okay to put some fixes in it. Because it was worth about $9,000, but she only bought it for $4,000. So putting a couple $1,000s of repairs into a car that you got for that good of a deal is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
We take it to the Dodge dealership. We literally, I'm so happy. We took my car so we could do other things while they're looking at it. If we hadn't done that, we would have been there all day. It took all day for them to find out what was wrong. Turns out it had been in a car accident that the Carfax did not have, by the way. The reason that the car kept overheating, they found out, is because the radiator fan was smushed in. So it wasn't spinning.
Oh my god.
So in the summer, the lack of antifreeze, or the antifreeze having to do way more than normal because the radiator fan isn't working.
Yeah.
Because it had been in a front fender bender that had pushed the front fender like bumper part in the underneath part. So it didn't function. So it had bent the frame. That's why. The frame had bent. And so in order for them to fix that, it was like $2,500 just for the frame to be readjusted back to normal.
Oh my gosh.
They told us, like, that's going to be pretty hard and a lot of work. They told us this was wrong, 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 this was wrong. Everything was wrong. We were just like sitting in my car, like laughing to not like, probably to not cry.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she was freaking out and I was too, obviously, when I was like, I guess we could sell it online or you could get your brother's car again. The one that doesn't work at all with airbags or seatbelts and whatever. We were dealing with that. And then we went up the road. I was like, well, let's go up to the used car dealership up the road. And so we did that. And they had, I hope that was interesting. I feel like the overheating part was very interesting.
That was all crazy.
It was all wild. It was a very, very fun day though. But it was stressful also.
This story, we were together and Eric was driving in his car. And we were in the furthest right lane. Because yes. And we're just driving along.
Going to who knows where.
And there's this guy with his electric wheelchair in the middle of the lane, like a car. But he's not going the speed of a car. Right in the middle of the lane. And so we're like, oh my gosh, we need to get over quick. Because we're not going to run this old guy over in his electric wheelchair.
Literally in the middle. We were like,
get on the sidewalk. We didn't say that to him. But.
Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. I was like, sir, That is not a lane for you.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Jail. Prison. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to jail.
And yeah, that's my next story. It's not as long as yours.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Why can't I talk? I feel like that one's short enough where I'm just going to continue on with another one.
Yeah, go.
So this one's another short one. One time, I was going to the gas station to get a soda, my daily ritual, and it's dark, and this truck, like I'm turning right, and they're turning right at the same intersection, but like the road they're going on, I am going on, the road that they're going on, I was just on. I think I said that wrong, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to take that out because they can't see my hands. But they're turning, and I look over, and they turn their turn signal on, and their headlight is blinking, like the blinker. Like I look over, and here's their two headlights, and then all of a sudden, this one's like blink, 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 like it goes on, off, the whole headlight. You know, the yellow part, like
that's weird.
Because it was an old car. It was like it wasn't white. It was yellow, like a headlight color. You know what I'm talking about. Just turned off, on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how bad is your wiring where your headlight is acting like the blinker? Like, it was so weird. Apparently, I just have weird experiences with people's blinkers. One has a solid blinker, the other one, the headlight turns on and off.
Yeah.
At night. That would be so bad. You're just driving and your headlight turns on and off and you're trying to turn. What?
Oh my gosh.
That's not normal.
That is
What does it look like in the day? Freaky too? They're like, why are they flashing me with
real?
One light? Weird stuff.
That is so weird.
I know.
My next one was on the way home from school.
I always have bad experiences coming home from school or at school.
Yeah, or going to school.
I was going to school for like college or like work school.
College. And so I'm on my way home, finished up classes, done with that, ready to be done, leave, get out of there.
Same me every day.
And this person, because you know how the lights, it's a busy road, so the lights aren't very long.
Not at all.
And the light turns yellow, and this person's like going to go through. And they stop in the middle of the intersection. Luckily, I was looking, and I'm watching, and I'm like, I stopped way before them, because I knew that they were not going to make a good choice. And they back right up. And good thing I stopped so far away.
Yeah. Why would you back up? Just go. Once you're in the intersection, just
go. Don't be wasting everybody's time by backing up in the intersection.
That's worse.
It is worse. Don't be backing up don't stop in the middle of the intersection, first of all.
No.
And then don't back up. What if I didn't stop? And I stopped at the line?
They would have just had to go. They would have hit you or had to go. They should have gone anyways.
They probably would have kept backing up and hit me.
Probably.
If they chose to just back up in the first place. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, that's funny because my dad's been in one car accident and he was in the passing lane on the freeway, and it's his one car accident he's ever been in. Literally, this lady clearly missed her exit. My dad stopped in time, I believe, but the person behind him hit him, so then he bounced into her. Mm-hmm. And so they all got like tickets except the person who stopped on the freeway, because the only way it works, even the police officer was like, I'm sorry, this is really stupid, but it's how the law is. You only get a ticket if you're the one who hit someone.
If you stop on the freeway, man, I would take that to court.
Yeah.
100%. Because she stopped in the fast lane, or in the very far left lane. Are you kidding me?
She missed her exit. No, but that's the law.
I would take it to court.
Well, you would lose. Because you hit them. My dad hit that person. Yeah,
but they stopped on the freeway. I would take it to court.
Well, now it would be easier to prove because of like dash cameras. This wasn't like recent. Yeah, but that was so dumb. That was his first and only car accident.
That makes me so mad.
I know.
Here's the thing, because I've been seeing a lot of videos and it's like, good drivers sometimes miss their exit. Bad drivers never miss their exit.
Wow.
What was she gonna do? Back up and go?
Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. You just go to the next exit and figure it out. People are crazy.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my goodness.
That's the stories we've got for you today.
Stay safe out there on the roads. Don't crash. We need you.
Also, there's going to be more bad driving experiences knowing our cursed selves.
We are manifesting that we do not want these things to happen, but they do. Bye. See you next time. Okay, we've got some bloopers for you.
There we go. Our episode's finished. Just kidding.
If you want it to be.
Oh, we're yelling. This next one. Okay, let me see it.
Yeah.
Like,
This next one.
This next one is when. Were you driving? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always driving.
In your car. And we were on the furthest right lane. Why are you laughing?
It's funny. Because I remember this story and I also just snotted everywhere.
Ooh, lovely. Anyway, so you're driving, of course, in your car.
Start over.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, yikes, sorry.
So